Make sure I've got myself muted here. Thanks to everybody who's joining a little bit early. We're going to wait and make sure that we've got everybody who wants to join us coming in. I'm Cliff Judy. I'm the Director of Professional Development and Member Engagement for MCCA. Apologies, it's a really long job title. Brian Milner, I'm sure most of you know him, President and CEO. And then the other relative newbie along with me, Katie Alexander, Director of Communication. Thanks to everybody for joining us for the Making the Most of Your Membership webinar. Like I said, we'll get started here in a couple of minutes. Just make sure that anybody who's coming in late can get in. Like 7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks that we have about almost 40 people registered. So.
And we've got an extra laptop over here that we're monitoring. So if you raise your hand or throw a comment in or anything like that, Katie's monitoring that. So feel free. We always want this to be an interactive kind of thing. We always want it to be a conversation. If you have questions, we want to hear them. So we're getting in there. I hope that we'll have some more people joining us, but we're a minute or two past the top of the hour. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us. For those of you who have not interacted with MCCA a whole lot up to now, we are a free resource to you. That is our hope, is that we are adding value to you as an employee of one of Missouri's community colleges. And over the last 3 or 4 years, we have significantly increased our membership. We've significantly increased our professional development opportunities. And we recently also had a change in our membership structure, which is why we wanted to sort of go over the basics of what membership means to you guys. Before we get into that, our ears are always open. If there's something that you would like to see with a service that we could possibly provide with you, make a connection for you, something that you would like to see or would provide some value to other staff members, we want to hear it. Let us know. So we are a resource to you in 4 primary ways. That is advocacy, education, information, and networking. To give you a little bit of background, up until just this fall, membership meant one of 2 things as far as how you could be a member. You could pay for yourself. It was $30 a year, pretty affordable. Or there were some colleges around the state who were paying for all of their staff members to become an MCCA member. Well, that changed this fall when all 12 presidents and chancellors agreed to pay for all employees to be MCCA members. It does not matter if you are full-time. It doesn't matter if you're part-time, adjunct, faculty, classified staff. If you are an employee of one of the 12 colleges, you are now an MCCA member. That doesn't necessarily mean that everybody just immediately got moved into our system. We don't have the ability to do that. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the word out to all staff members. If you go to our website, mccatoday.org, and you go in there, you log in, you are now a member. It is free to you. Like we said, we want to be a resource to you. And I'm just going to awkwardly transition now over to Brian to talk a little bit about advocacy, what we do at the State House, what we do sort of behind the scenes that maybe you guys don't see on an everyday basis, but is really important and we think valuable service to you guys.
Thank you. And that was a good introduction. As Cliff said earlier, I'm Brian Milner, the president of the Missouri Community College Association. I have been in this role about 4.5 years now, although I have been affiliated with MCCA in some form or fashion really since 2010. From 2010 to about 2014, I worked for the lobbying firm that MCCA contracts with to help with our advocacy efforts, our lobbying efforts in Jefferson City. Really quickly, to add just a little bit further background on kind of this membership change. When I started, and for many years prior, the rationale for our individual memberships was that money paid by individuals rather than by the institutions was supposed to fund our advocacy efforts. And shortly after I started, we kind of took a look at this, and we didn't have enough members paying that $30 a year to actually cover our lobbying expenses. And so one or two things kind of had to change. We either needed to drastically reduce our lobbying expenses or increase our number of members. And it was sort of decided at that time that we were going to take some active steps on increasing membership. So we started our webinar series. We increased the number of professional development programs throughout the year. We took things like our student affairs seminar. We made it a 3-day event, and we took it around the state of Missouri, Springfield, Kansas City, and St. Louis to try to increase the number of people who could participate in these kind of things. And so, what we have done now in making this change, what the presidents and chancellors agreed to, ensuring that everybody who wants to can be a part of MCCA, I think is really important. And it shows the benefit and the value that the presidents find in the work that we're doing. So one of the main things that we do is the advocacy piece. We were founded effectively to be the voice for Missouri's community colleges. And state legislators, state representatives, our governor, they know when it comes to community colleges, we do speak with one voice. All 12 community colleges moving in the same direction, setting the same legislative agenda every year, asking for the same things from our state leaders. And we have had some tremendous success over the last few years. And last year, we saw a $10 million increase to our core funding. This year, the governor has proposed a 5.5% or about another $8.3 million core increase to our state funding. And so to put that in perspective, in 2001, the community colleges received $153 million. Until last year, we did not reach that high watermark at any point in the last 20 years. So last year's $10 million increase put us back into the $150 million core increase amount to $156 million. So as you can tell, additional work has been needed because the state has not even kept pace with inflation in terms of our core. So we've made it a real priority to push our legislature and the governor into supporting the core funding for community colleges. And it looks like they've started out the legislative session here just a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like there's an interest in continuing to do that this year with as much as maybe $8.5 or even a little bit more $1 million for our core. Another big piece of what we advocate for is A+ scholarship, right? This opens the door for many of our students who otherwise might not be able to attend college. And it is about a $40 to $50 million program that grows every year. It is perceived as extremely successful. We know the stories from our students. We hear the stories from our faculty members. We know that A+ is making college an affordable option. And so every day when we're in the Capitol, we're talking to legislators about the A+ program, about the benefits to our students, to middle-class families, and really the benefit to the workforce as well. And so, that is certainly kind of 1A and 1B in terms of our priorities are always protecting our core, right? That's the main money from the state, and A+, a huge scholarship program that supports our students in their efforts to attend community college. Beyond that, every year there are some other bills that pop up, things that deal with, it might be guns on campus, or it might be curriculum or something else kind of in the higher ed policy space that we have to work with legislators to figure out how to resolve. A couple of years ago, we had a state senator pass a bill that created a dual credit and dual enrollment scholarship housed within A+. We've worked with that senator and others involved to kind of make it function the way it was originally designed to function. And so it's those sort of things that pop up. And as somebody in the Capitol has, what they might believe to be a great idea, we have to sort of do a check on whether or not it's going to positively or negatively impact our colleges, our students, and kind of the operation of our state in terms of public higher education. And so that's the role that we play. And we have a really great lobbying team. We use a firm called John Barget and Associates. They lobby on behalf of us and are present in the Capitol sort of at all times during the legislative session. And then a couple of our colleges also have either their own in-house or contract lobbyists. And so together we work as a team to make sure that nothing gets missed or falls through the cracks, that we're pushing for core funding increases, which support, frankly, things like pay raises, salary increases for our community college faculty and staff. And so there is a direct benefit for those of you who, never have to step foot in the Capitol or, kind of see how the sausage is made, if you will. So we're proud to do it. We're happy to do it. We appreciate the opportunity. And it really is, it's the glue that sort of holds us all together is our ability to speak with one voice and to show up in the Capitol and represent community colleges.
All right,
Cliff.
thanks, Brian. As we said, advocacy, another one is education. So we have a lot of events and workshops that we've been doing for years now. Obviously, that was a bit tricky the last couple of years. And I wrote some of these down that hopefully we're either going to be bringing back to in person as we get, again, hopefully past this most recent COVID surge. I wrote a few of them down just so I wouldn't forget them. We've got a human resources workshop that will hopefully be going in April again. I'm talking with the HR directors around the state about that. We've got the Student Leadership Institute in April. Obviously, that's more geared toward the students. We also have MCCA's Leadership Institute that's going to be typically in late September, early October. That is more geared toward faculty and staff. Legal issues seminar in June, allied health conference in October. We have a variety of these in-person things that again are hopefully going to be back to in-person. We've had to do them as webinars the last couple of years, a few of them as webinars the last couple of years. But again, we have a lot of webinars that we have going throughout the year. Typically, we have at least one a month. So we've been increasing our offerings there. We're again increasing our offerings in 2022. So one of the things that we're going to launch here in just, I think, 2 weeks, as we were at the annual convention, and we'll talk about that here in a second, as we were at the annual convention, we had all of these members of faculty, these excellent classified staff and adjuncts who were coming across the stage. They had tremendous things that their colleges were saying about them. And I literally leaned over to Katie and I said, this is a resource that we're not taking advantage of as much as we should. So starting next month, we're going to start something called My Favorite Lecture. It's going to be an award-winning member of our faculty from around the state giving either the lecture that they think brings among the most student engagement, the best life lessons, something that could help you all in your classrooms. Just to give you a quick preview, the first one is going to be Professor Becky Allen, professor of psychology from Moberly Area Community College. She is going to be talking about time and stress management on Tuesday, February 8th. Time and stress management at the start of a semester, I have to imagine is about as valuable of something as we can put out there for you. Then in March, we're going to have Dr. Susan Inman from OTC is going to be talking about the neuroscience behind how a brain that has been diagnosed with ADHD, with autism, with other diagnoses like that, how that brain works. So for the last 15 or 20 years, there's been a big push to help people with a diagnosis of autism or ADHD navigate their way through the elementary and secondary school system. Now those students are getting into higher education. So Dr. Inman is going to give us a lecture to help you sort of understand how their brain is processing the information you're trying to teach them and how you can help them, because it's obviously not a very easy one. That one's actually kind of near and dear to my heart because my mom is an autism consultant for the state. And then of course, the annual convention. That is the biggest event of the year. Even with the uncertainty of 2021, we had more than 500 registrants for our convention in Branson this past year. This year, it's going to be November 29th through December 1st in St. Louis at Union Station. So that's going to be the week after Thanksgiving. I was at Union Station last week, and there are probably a lot of people on this webinar who have been there before. If you haven't been there, it is a beautiful, historic building. I mean, you're going back to late 19th century, early 20th century, when our country was trying to build these big, magnificent structures. They've taken really good care of it. Obviously, there's a ton of things for you to do, whether you're coming there on your own or being there with the family. There's a lot of history there. Our meeting spaces are actually going to be in the boarding platforms where people would wait for their trains to pull in and then they would get on the train. The arches leading into those rooms are where the trains backed in. So it's just a very, very cool space. Already having really cool conversations with the people there about how we can make that more fun for everybody. And, just to be completely transparent, we're having conversations right now about, do we want to change up the structure of the convention a little bit, reimagine it, not reinvent it necessarily, but reimagine it to make it more engaging on a daily basis, to make sure that there's something for everybody throughout the entire 3-day convention. We're not necessarily going to look at something and say, why have we been doing it this way this whole time? Well, it's because it's the way that we've always done it. No, that's not really a good enough answer. We want to make sure that we're continually evaluating our processes, continually evaluating these events, and making sure that they're bringing some kind of value to you. So that's education.
Then another one of the benefits of MCCA membership is information. Really going hand in hand in that is communication. So as an association, we try to be in regular communication, provide regular updates to you all as members, whether that be MCCA events, community college news, legislative updates, or just higher education in general. We want to make sure that you all are in the loop on what's happening. So our primary mode of communication is through our email updates. Those come through our member platform, MemberClicks. You all obviously got this one for this webinar because you registered, but all of those do come from MCCA at MemberClicks, like -mail.net. I'll drop that in the chat so everyone has it. So if you're not getting our emails, you want to make sure those are on your approved sender list and we're not going to your spam. But as far as event communication, we usually try to, as far as webinars and regional events, send out those anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks ahead of time, so you guys have time to plan, get registered. As far as newsletters, before I joined this summer, I believe there was a weekly MCCA newsletter actually, but for this year, it's a goal of mine to send more of a monthly update. So kind of a outline of the month's events, any news headlines or anything that's relevant to you all, especially right now during legislative session, any kind of that information that you all need to know. As far as our website, we're kind of in the process of revamping that. So stay tuned for more resources and information on mccatoday.org. Another benefit of MCCA is you have access to the MCCA job board. So there you can not only view job listings at the 12 community colleges across the state, but you also are able to post job listings of your own. So that's just another resource for you to share and spread that information when there are job openings that you are looking to fill. And then back to our member platform, MemberClicks. We have members only content that's accessible to you via that platform. We'll do a quick demo of MemberClicks here in a bit, but through MemberClicks, you have access to a digital repository of all of our webinars, presentations, lots of resources there that we hope with our new membership model and as we grow and engage more members, that'll be more utilized moving forward. So
cool. Thank you. Did you have something for a sec?
Nope.
Okay,
Not yet.
cool. So the next one is networking. There's probably going to be quite a bit of overlap between education and networking here, but just going really quick through it, we've got events to network and brainstorm. We've got a new initiative that was basically spawned by some ideas from our advisory board called subject matter experts. So that is an effort to where we have people who have similar roles across the colleges having a chance to meet, brainstorm, collaborate, share strategies. Just to give you an example, we've already had all of the oral communication and speech faculty members. We're going to be organizing a meeting for them. We are in the process of organizing CTE professionals. We're in the process of organizing a subject matter experts meeting with disability support services. So right there, you can see that this is not just a faculty thing. This is people who have similar roles across the colleges wanting to get all in one room together or in one virtual room together in a lot of cases and start figuring out how they can assist each other and how they can start bouncing ideas off of each other. MCCA, we're not going to delude ourselves into the idea that we can lead an innumerable, number of groups. But if you want to get together with like-minded colleagues, we want to be that connection point for you. We have the ability to figure out who are the various people who operate in a similar role as you, and then we can set up that gathering point and let your group grow as fast or as slow, as organically as you want. Just to give you another quick example, that oral and speech communication group, they were scheduled to meet here in a couple of weeks. That's probably been pushed back due to some health issues, but the plan there is to get everybody together, have a keynote speaker, breakout sessions where everybody's going to address a couple of key questions that's facing that particular discipline, and then huddle back up to say, okay, was this helpful to everybody? Do we want to start meeting monthly? Do we want to start meeting quarterly? And then just let that group grow organically. So that's events, committees and councils. That's typically something that is done at the convention, but also a few times throughout the year. For instance, our CAOs typically get together a few times a year and then meet at the convention. Our classified staff typically gets together and meets a few times a year and at the convention. So what we're going to try and do at the convention is we're going to try and make sure that those kinds of meetings, everyone falls into some kind of category. So again, we're providing some value for you at the convention. And then awards, those are fun, right? We handed out, I want to say 77 awards at our last convention. That was outstanding adjunct. That was excellence in teaching for faculty. That was classified staff, awards for innovation. And so just a couple of dates to keep in mind. So here at the end of February, we're going to be putting out proposals. We're going to be having a call for proposals to come in if you want to present at the convention. And at the end of March, that's going to be when we're asking for submissions on award winners. So.
So that's kind of the four big areas. I just wanted to touch on briefly MemberClicks, our online member platform, which some of you may be very familiar with, some not at all. But MemberClicks is essentially what we use for all of our member communications. So all of our emails that you get, those are coming from MemberClicks. When we need to, when you need to register for an event, that's through MemberClicks. If Cliff or I are trying to look up, a contact from a particular school, all of that's done through MemberClicks. So I wanted to, for those who aren't super familiar, I'm gonna switch my screen here and do a quick little demo of logging in and how to manage your member profile. Okay, that looks right. So when you go to our homepage here, as I said, bear with us, we're working on some updates to the website, but you can either click over here on my profile or click on the member login, and it's going to prompt you to enter your username or password. If you ever have issues with your username or password, you can either reset it yourselves or just send us a quick note and we're happy to do that for you. But you'll log in here. And this is what you will see once you log in. So this is kind of this is the member landing page. So if you hover over my profile, you'll see that you can change your profile picture, change your password. If you scroll down here, this is one question I get a lot to our administrative inbox, is how to pay an invoice online. So if you hover over the profile and you click on invoices, it will should bring up all of your current and past invoices. So that would be for things like the annual convention or any type of workshop or regional event that has a fee associated. So all of those would be there, and you can click on whichever invoice it is that you need and pay it online. Let's see, if you scroll down just a bit more, this is where you'll see kind of your contact information. So again, when Cliff and I are looking up emails or, phone numbers, trying to get a hold of someone, usually the first place we look is MemberClicks. So we do encourage everyone to try to keep this information as up to date as you can. So if you click edit, you'll see that these fields pop up and you're able to change emails, phone numbers, address, whatever you need to change there. The member directory is another feature that I'm not sure is widely utilized, but it is a great way to find other members within your college, or, well, everyone's a member now, but across colleges. So if you hover over connections and click on browse directory, it's going to take you into our member-wide, or it should take you into our member-wide directory. Maybe. Doesn't want to do it today. Ideally, you'll click on browse directory and it will take you into our, oh, there we
There it
go.
is.
Being a little slow
Just slow.
today. Yeah, so you can search this way. This is another reason you want to try to keep your contact information up to date so that other members across colleges are able to reach you and connect and collaborate. Messages, all of our emails should be going directly to your inbox, but if there's a particular one can't find, got deleted, if you do click on message history, all of our email updates coming through MemberClicks will appear here as well. So that's all there. Like I said, the not the member directory, the MCCA digital repository is a great resource. If you hover over resources up here and click digital repository, that's an area where you can find, presentations from webinars, recordings of webinars. Anyone who is a member with a profile on MemberClicks is able to upload presentations, documents, whatever it is, you can upload it there, and all of our members have access to it. So that's a really great resource, like I said, that we hope moving forward will be more widely utilized by our members. So that's kind of a crash course. If you ever have questions, or if you get in here and are not seeing something you think you should be seeing, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Most of the time it's a pretty easy fix. I will note, as Cliff mentioned with the membership change, we are in the process of, so previously, if your college was not an institutional member, if you had to pay individual dues and you had a MemberClicks account, you're probably listed as a prospect and not an MCCA member. So when you log in, it'll just be this My Profile tab. We're in the process of trying to clean up those lists and eventually get everyone transferred over to MCCA member. It's just, we've been using MemberClicks for probably 5 years or so now. So it's a lot of data cleanup. So in the meantime, if you log in and are not seeing this, or it lists you as prospect, just shoot us a quick email and we can easily get that changed for you. So like I said, that's just a little crash course. We encourage you to get in there, play around, update your information. If you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to ask. Let's go back.
All right. I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand in the Zoom. You can throw a chat in there, something like that. Katie is going to put our information back up. Again, I'm Cliff, Brian, Katie. The people who weren't on here were our Deputy Director, Jordan Williams, and our Executive Assistant, Debbie Cheshire. We're a 5-person team, so it is a small, but we consider mighty team. Our emails are right there on the screen. I'm also very, very quick to give out my cell phone number. So if you have any questions, if you want to chat, if you have an idea, our ears are always open. We always love more engagement than less. So call the office, send us an email. I'll give you my cell phone number. Whatever you want to do, give us a shout. We want to chat. And yeah, so if you were not terribly familiar with MCCA before today, I hope that this helped fill in some gaps for you. If you have an idea, like I said, we want to hear it. And thank you so much for joining us to learn a little bit more, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll just put a bow on it by saying, our goal is to make sure that there's something for everyone. And so if you haven't figured out yet what that something is for you, right, we can talk you through it. Or maybe today we've thrown a lot at you, but maybe today you caught something that, piqued your interest. And we hope that you'll use that as a bridge to getting more involved and engage with MCCA. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.